Welcome back, and in this video we want to talk about one of the final critical pieces of software. We have one more video after this one, but this is the final critical piece of software or plugin for WordPress that you should absolutely keep. So if we go back under plugins, that plugin is called Akeeba Backup for WordPress. Now this one is already activated by default. It's the only one out of all of the plugins that is actually activated. And the reason for that is because I use the Akeeba Backup to back up and create this template, so to speak, or the quick start kit. And you'll come down here to Akeeba Backup after you've installed all of this. And here you'll go and you'll see under Manage Backups, you'll have something listed here. Go ahead and just highlight that and just choose Delete. Okay? So at some point, every time you go to make a change, upgrade your site, make whatever changes that you want to do, so that you can roll the site back in the event that you can do that, then this is exactly the piece of software that you're going to want to use, and what you're going to want to do is run a backup. So I went ahead and just deleted the other data file for the backup. That way, when you get it, you should start clean and fresh with no backups. That way, the backups that will be there in the future are going to be your own and not anything we've created for you. All right, so let's talk about the home screen and a couple of things. Okay, so anything that you need to do, the first thing that I would suggest doing, since you're going to be on a different server than what I had originally installed this on in the development environment, so after you manage the backup and delete it, definitely come over here to configuration and rerun this configuration wizard. Okay, so just kind of hang out here and wait. I don't necessarily think it will take too long on this machine, so I'm not going to pause the video. It should take about maybe 20 to 30 seconds. Some machines, if your server's extremely slow, this could take a couple of minutes. If it does, then you probably want to consider either upgrading your hosting provider or upgrading your own server if you're hosting it internally in your own house. This is an older dev box, so this is probably going to chug away. I'm going to pause this real quick and then come right back. Okay guys, it was probably 10 to 15 seconds after I had paused it that the benchmarking was done. All right, so now with the configuration done, the next thing that you're going to want to do is to do this. This is critical, so please be sure to remember this or do this now. Click the configuration button. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come down here and change the archiver engine. And you want to change it from JPA, which is the recommended format, to zip. And the reason that you're going to want to do this is because when it creates an archive, if it's in a regular zip format, you will have no problems accessing the file inside of this the files, rather your site, which are the files, inside of the compressed single file. So if it's in a zip format, everybody can unpack a zip file. However, if you leave it at the JPA format, which is recommended, that gets a little stickier. So let's go over here under a new tab and let's go under Akeeba, A-K-E-E-B-A. So we're here at Akeeba.com, and one of the things that you're going to need to do if you were to get a if you were to go ahead and just leave it the way that it is by default, if you find out that you have a JPA format file, number one, if you can, go ahead and change it to zip and reback it up and you're fine. But if you have a JPA and you need to restore that because you made changes and you forgot to change this, the fix is you need to come up here and download this Quickstart. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but it's relatively straightforward. It's a couple of files, and then you're going to have to go to this particular file by default, and then you're going to have to deal with that. But it's not that bad. Go ahead and read the instructions, but I just wanted to show you where to go in the event that if you find yourself into this predicament, to come over here, and this is how you will gain access to unpack essentially that JPA file. So to avoid all of that, All you have to do is come over here and change the archiver engine to zip format, which I've just done. And at that point, we'll need to save the configuration and close it. And at this point, I am now ready to do my backup. So I'll just click Backup Now. And all I got to do is leave everything the same, or I can change the name if I want it more user-friendly. And I'll just choose Backup Now. Now, it's going to run its process, so we're just going to leave it like this. I'm going to pause. Okay, I'm unpausing to show you a little bit of progress, and I'm going to pause again, and we'll be back. Okay, I'm unpausing. We're a little bit further along, and we should probably just whip on right through here. Hopefully I won't have to pause yet again. Okay, guys, I'm unpausing. We're towards the tail end of this, and in just a few seconds we'll get to this. And it says backup completed successfully. So now if I come over here to manage my backups, then I can go ahead and download it. Now I will tell you there's another caveat. You should use FTP to download this because it will tell you, all of this information when you try to download it. It says we recommend using FTP in binary transfer mode to download your backup archives. And the reason for that is the information in the file or the file itself could change and it could cause you problems. And when it comes to backing up or being able to restore, why take any chances, right? So go ahead and FTP into your site if you have the ability, and go ahead and do that. Otherwise, if you don't have access to FTP, then just go ahead and do the download and make sure that you can unpack the zip file on your machine. And as long as you can see the files, I think you'll be just fine. So that is it on how to configure Akeeba. Basically go in there, manage your backups, reconfigure it, and again, make sure you change the archiver engine to zip format, and then how to do a backup. Now, in the event that you do have FTP access, I need to show you where this file is located. So in order to do that, I am going to bring up the developer box here. All right, so this is site A. Okay, this is the root of the site. So here is a normal default WordPress, typical WordPress installation. I'm trying to make this a little bit bigger. Probably was better the other way. Yeah, we'll leave it like this. Okay, anyway, in the WP content folder, we will see a plugins folder. If we go into the plugins, then we can go and find this Akeeba backup, okay? And there's the Akeeba backup. Inside of there is an apps folder. And we go into there. And inside of there is a backups folder. And finally, we get this cryptic name with the name of the site and a zip file. This is the backup of your site. This file is in fact the same file as, let me come back over here to the Akeeba site. Let's manage our backups. So if I choose download, this download is actually going to be the same as downloading this, but this is where it is in the FTP. So let's walk through this again because it is very buried inside of it. So from the root of your site, disregard everything over here, guys. Let's just do it like this. So inside of the WP content folder, there's a plugins folder. Inside of there, the plugin name is the Akeeba backup. Inside of there is an app and then a backups directory, or an app directory, and inside of that a backups directory. And inside of all of that you will find your zip file. So just wanted to show you where that lives. Now, something else of interest, I think it's worthy to bring this up. You can change the path of where this gets backed up if you so choose, and I believe it's done under the backup profile. Let's see, it's supposed to be here in the configurations. Output directory. Here it is, the default output directory. I could go ahead and change this to use, something else that I want. So here is the, the path. You can change it to whatever you want. Obviously, make sure you have permissions. You may run into some problems because of the permissions. Make sure to test it. If it works, great. Otherwise, copy this default path so that you have it to replace back, or put it back in the event that you need to. Obviously, you're not going to get much help and support from the plugin unless you buy the premium upgrade, because their forums remain locked for you to be able to ask questions unless you upgrade to the Pro version. Now, the reason that you want to upgrade Akeeba to the Pro version is that you can schedule backups. And as long as you have enough hard drive space in your hosting account, you can set these to backup hourly, daily, do whatever. Dave's WordPress, our services are also designed to do what Akeeba does in a central way. We back up your site, and one of the things that we can do is we can back up the data file off-prem, off of your server. If you upgrade to the Pro version of Akeeba, however, you also have the ability to put it into a cloud drive, which would be off-prem or off the drive of your web server. So that is another reason to consider the backup. So again, Dave's WordPress offers a lot of these services, all 9 of them, in fact, and backup is a huge part of what we do. But we just wanted to give you a great tool and a great utility to back up your site. Anyway, this was a little bit longer video because of how critical and essential it is. In the event that you get your site hacked or something bad happens, then this is what you need to do to go ahead and restore that. Now keep in mind, if you restore a vulnerable site, chances of you getting hacked again is pretty high. You may restore the site and get hacked within a half hour and be right back down again. So not only do you need to restore the site, but you also need to fix and identify the vulnerabilities, which is, again, one of the benefits of using Dave's WordPress services is that we can help identify vulnerabilities within your site and mitigate them before they happen. So in any event, this is a couple of tools for you to be able to self-help. We'll see you in the next video where we're going to talk about our last and final security plugin.